Hi, today we're going to be talking about lesson 1-1, expressions and formulas. It's going to cover order of operations, evaluating algebraic expressions, evaluating formulas. Order of operations you guys all know as the order that we do mathematical operations, and we use PEMDAS to remember that, where PEMDAS stands for parentheses we do first. So anything inside of parentheses you do first. Exponents you do second. Then left to right you do multiplication or division. So that's kind of one category. And then you do addition or subtraction. So those are the order of operations and how you can remember what you do first. As far as evaluating expressions go, an expression is just a formula that doesn't have an equal sign in it. So here we just have an expression, so we're going to substitute in to the expression whatever the value of the letter is. So for example, we're going to substitute in the 4 for h. So we'll put that in for the h there, so we go 4 squared, and then we're going to put times, because the sign in between k and h is really a times. If you don't see a time in between two letters, you know that that's a multiplication sign. So k is 0.5, so I'm going to do 0.5, and then we'll do plus h again is 4, and then times the quantity, 4 minus k is 0.5. Okay, so if we're to evaluate this using PEMDAS, I know I need to do parentheses first. So I would right off the bat go 4 squared times 0.5 plus 4. And I know that 4 minus 0.5 is really 3.5. So that would be the first step. Next step is exponents, so I'm going to get rid of that squared. So 4 squared really means 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So 16 times 0.5 plus 4 times 3.5. Okay, I'm going to do multiplication. I'm going to just do them together here. So 16 times 0.5, or half of 16, is 8, plus 4 times 3.5, well, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 0.5 is 2, 12 plus 2 makes 14, and that is equal to 22. So we did parentheses, exponents, multiplication. We didn't have any division, but it would go at the same time as the multiplication. You just go left to right, and then we finally did addition. We did subtraction in the parentheses up there, but we had to do that first because it was inside those parentheses. Okay, I want you to hit pause, use the same numbers for h, j, and k, and plug those into this expression here and evaluate. So go ahead and hit pause. Okay, hopefully you saw that you do -1 squared minus 3 times 4 squared times 0.5 all over -1 cubed plus 2. So usually just substituting in correctly for each letter is the first step for evaluating an expression correctly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do all the exponents here first. Now, we really have parentheses when you have an expression where it's one thing divided by another or over another. Technically, there are parentheses around these, so we have to evaluate the whole numerator before we can evaluate the denominator. So don't forget that. There are parentheses, even though they're not in there. When you have it written as a fraction like this, there really are parentheses around that numerator and parentheses around that denominator. Okay, so -1 squared is 1. Okay, 4 squared is 16, so I'm going to change that to 3 times 16. And then times 0.5, okay, all over 1 cubed is negative 1 cubed is negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1, which is negative 1 plus 2. Okay, I'm going to do the multiplication. 16 times 0.5. It doesn't matter with multiplication. You guys learn the multiplicative, one of those properties that just says order doesn't matter with multiplication. So 16 times 0.5, or half of 16, is 8. 3 times 8, so it'll be 1 minus 3 times 8 is 24. And then negative 1 plus 2 is 1, okay, which equals negative 23 over 1, which is just negative 23. Okay. If the volume of a prison is V equals B times H, where V is the volume and B is the area of the base and H is the height, calculate the volume of a prison with a square base of side length 2 and of height 5. So this is now a formula because we've got V equals. So we've got an equation, which is also known as a formula, and you can tell because of the equal sign. So volume is the formula we're trying to figure out. Area of the base, B. So this one's a little bit harder because I didn't actually give you the equation for area of the base, but I did say that the base was a square with side length 2. Actually, I'm going to delete that line so I can draw it a little better. Okay. Here's a square. There's a square. Okay. To make this prism, we connect the top and the bottom, and we've got ourselves a little prism there, so you can kind of see it. It's a three-dimensional object there. Remember we said the base was a square with side length 2, so we need to find the area of that base. Well, we know that the area of a square is just the side length squared, so 2 squared equals 4. So that's the area of the base, that's B. That equals B, and we know that H, it said, is 5, so I could label that here 5. Okay, to find the volume of this prism, we just do the area of the base, which is 4, times the height is 5, so you'd get a volume of 20 for this prism. So go ahead and give this a shot. Now this is going to be harder, okay, so don't feel bad if you get this one wrong, but we might as well challenge ourselves and try to see if you can get this right. So if you get this right, awesome. This is a formula to find the area of a triangle, where A, B, and C are the sides of a triangle. So give this a shot and see if it works for you, and then I'll check our answer here at the end. So hit pause, give it a shot, go. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is calculate what S is. So S is 6 plus 11 plus 14 all over 2. So 6 plus 11 is 17 plus 14 is 31 over 2. That's an ugly number, which equals 15.5. So 15.5 is our S value. So now we need to use this equation right here to calculate the area. So we'll go A equals the square root of 15.5 times quantity 15.5 minus 6, we'll call A, times the quantity 15.5 minus 11, we'll say is B, times the quantity 15.5 minus 14. And I need to extend my radical sign there. Okay, so A equals, so we have to do everything inside the parentheses first there. So we'll leave that 15.5 alone. And then it's times 15.5 minus 6 is 9.5 times 15.5 minus 11 is 4.5, And 15.5 minus 14 is 1.5. Okay, if we multiply those three together, we get 993.9375. And then if we actually take the square root of that, we would get 31.53. This would be in inches squared. Area is always a squared unit, and since they gave those little dashes, those mean inches. If there was one dash, it would be feet. With two dashes, that means inches. So if you ever see that, most of the time you'll see it written as IN period to abbreviate inches, but a lot of people will do drawings where they put these little quotation marks. If there's two quotation marks, it means inches, one means feet. Okay, that's it for section 1.1. Bring any questions you have into class. Thanks.